Hey there, everyone. This is Dan from the Strength Coach Tutor. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you guys for coming to check out today's video. Today, I want to discuss positive and negative reinforcement and punishment. And in my opinion, how to best understand these is to first identify and define what each of these words actually mean. So let's start with positive and negative. Positive is referring to when we add something to a situation. For example, if I give a water break or if I assign extra conditioning at the end of practice, I'm adding things in those contexts or situations. Whereas negative just means to remove something. So let's just say I remove any conditioning that was planned at the end of practice. Reinforcement means that I want to increase the likelihood of a situation or event happening again, whereas punishment refers to want to decrease the likelihood or chance that a behavior will happen again in the future. And typically, right, we want to reinforce good behaviors and we want to punish bad behaviors. All right. So let's go through some examples of these four different components here, right? Positive and negative reinforcement, and then positive and negative punishment. So for example, with positive reinforcement, let's just say all of your teammates or all of your athletes showed up early to practice. So as a result, you give them an extra protein snack at the end of their training session. All right, you added something to that situation, that protein snack, to increase the likelihood of them showing up to practice early again in the future. Negative reinforcement, for example, would be, let's say all of your players showed up to practice, so therefore you decide to cancel the conditioning that was scheduled at the end of practice, right? You remove that conditioning to increase the likelihood of that behavior happening again, them showing up early to practice. Now let's take positive and negative punishment. With positive punishment, right, let's say all of your athletes showed up late to practice, a behavior you don't want to happen again, right? They showed up late to practice, so therefore you add extra conditioning at the end of practice. All right, you're adding something to that situation, you're adding extra conditioning to decrease the chance of that behavior happening again in the future. Now with negative punishment, let's say, for whatever reason, your team is traveling on a trip, you guys were supposed to go do some cool experience while you're traveling for a game, but as a result, of them arriving late to practice one morning, you decide to cancel that experience because, again, that's a behavior you don't want to happen again in the future, right? You take away that new experience that they were supposed to go see while traveling on a trip for a game. You remove that because they did a behavior that you don't want to happen again in the future. All right, so again, to overall review, right, we have positive and negative reinforcement, positive and negative punishment. Positive means you're adding something to the situation. Negative means that you're removing something from the situation. Don't let those two terms tell you if it's really something bad or good, right? It's just simply meaning you're adding or removing something. Reinforcement is referring to you're trying to increase the chance of the likelihood of a behavior happening again in the future, whereas punishment is you're trying to decrease that likelihood of that behavior happening again in the future, right? And typically, right, we want to reinforce good behaviors, but punish bad behaviors, right? And then whether or not we're adding or removing something determines if we're going to have positive or negative in front of each of those, whether it's reinforcement or punishment. Okay, guys, I hope you guys really got a lot out of this video and found this useful and enjoyed my take on how I understand positive and negative reinforcement and punishment. Go ahead and share this video or like it or comment if you feel inclined to do so. If you really enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below. And of course, you can always head to thestrengthcoachtutor.com to get one-on-one tutoring sessions with me, or to join our online classroom where we have hundreds of practice questions and our full self-paced course with even more videos like this. All right, guys, thanks for checking in.